Let's take you live now to Tony Burke. He's a Home Affairs Minister. He's got news on the Iranian footballers.
An offer from Australia. One was a player, one was a support person. With the assistance of the Australian Federal Police, they were separated from the rest of the group and taken to a safe location. They then met with me at the Australian Federal Police location, which is attached to Brisbane Airport. When I met with them, I made them the same offer that I had made the 5 players the night before, and that was that if they wanted to receive a humanitarian visa for Australia, which would have a pathway to a permanent visa, I had the paperwork ready to execute that immediately. They both said that they did. I signed off on that, asked the department to start processing straight away, and overnight that processing happened. After I'd flown on to Sydney, those 2 women were reunited with the other 5 players. In Sydney, as the full delegation went through customs and immigration, people were separated. They were given a chance, each player and each member of the team, with the exception of a small number of people where we had made the decision that we did not want to make a direct offer to them. But all the players remaining and most of the support people were taken into interview rooms without any minders present, simply themselves and the Department of Home Affairs and an interpreter, and they were given a choice. In that situation, what we made sure of was there was no rushing. There was no pressure. Everything was about ensuring the dignity for those individuals to make a choice. Obviously, the one pressure we couldn't take away was the context. We couldn't take away the pressure of the context for these individuals, of what might have been said to them beforehand, what pressures they might have felt with their own other family members. Some of them wanted to make contact directly with other family members, and we made sure that we did everything we could to facilitate that. Some of them had direct conversations with family members in deciding what they would do. Ultimately, in Sydney, none of those individuals made the decision to take up the offer from Australia. After the plane had taken off, I met with the Home Affairs officials, the members of Border Force, and reminded them that they should still be very proud of who we are as a country and their role as the face of Australia when people were being offered a choice. Australia's objective here was not to force people to make a particular decision. We're not that sort of nation. What we wanted to make sure of was that sometimes, possibly for the first time, these individuals were meeting a government that said the choice is up to you. And here is the opportunity if you want to take it, but the choice and the dignity of that decision is yours. As Australians, we should be proud that we're that sort of country. For the 7 people who've decided to take up that offer, they are now on humanitarian visas, and the processing will soon start for them to move to what's called a resolution of status, which is a permanent visa. I have no intention, after everything that these individuals have gone through, for them to have to fight through the courts for permanent status in Australia. Obviously, for the 2 people yesterday, I went through the same processes that I had the day before in having conversations with Mike Burgess to make sure that ASIO was completely comfortable with the decisions that I was considering making, and Mike Burgess said that was all clear. For each of the individuals, they were emotional meetings. They were emotional meetings for them and for the people from Home Affairs and Border Force who were meeting with them. I can't begin to imagine what people have been weighing up. And as Australians, I think a lot of us would just wish the context was something fundamentally different. But I think we need to remember this. When those players were silent at the start of their first match in Australia, that silence was heard as a roar all around the world. And the world wanted to know, and Australians wanted to know, how we would respond. We responded by saying the invitation is there. In Australia, you can be safe, you will be welcomed, you will be at home. For everybody who was given that choice, I'm really glad we did that. And for the 7 people who took up that offer, we as a nation are lucky that you chose us, and I think they are only just beginning to realise just how welcome they are here in Australia. I'm happy to take questions. I know there'll be a lot, so I might just start here and move my way around.
Thanks, Minister. Can you provide any more details about what kind of persecution the players and officials claimed? Any more detail about what they claimed, if possible? And also, just in terms of the impacts on their family, could you give any assurances? Is it possible to give any assurances? Was it possible to in any way protect families from the inevitable outcome of being associated with somebody who's taken this action?
The challenge with Iran is we can't even get Australian citizens necessarily out of Iran. And I was very upfront in my meetings with people because they'd ask me, can I now help their family members if I help them? And I was very clear. Even Australian citizens who are in Iran at the moment, we don't have a way of getting them out. And so obviously when people are permanent residents, there are rights that they have in terms of sponsoring other family members, but all of it only becomes relevant if people can get out of Iran in the first place. So that was the nature of the conversation. In terms of specifics about persecution, I can't shed any direct light on that from the conversations that I had. We didn't talk in those precise terms. But I'm very mindful of the different comments that have been made by the Iranian Australian community. They've been very vocal in 2 ways, both in publicly making people aware of the risks that are there back in Iran, but also in being the very public face to these individuals, the 7 in particular, to know just how welcome they'll be here.
OK, that's where we leave Minister Burke, confirming there that 2 more Iranians have sought asylum here in Australia, and that has been granted. It was 1 extra player and a support person from the Iranian soccer team.